Guys, everyone joined from the laptop, right, today? I mean, most of them. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others? Okay, do one thing. Who was not joined from the laptop? Please raise your hands. Who has not joined from the laptop? Okay. One, two, three. Okay. No problem actually. You guys, whoever not joined from the laptop, the thing why we are asking is today we are giving the access for you guys. Okay. Randomly we'll give access and we'll test it out whether you are also able to access it or not. And in next class, we will give access to all of them. So always, so try to join from the laptop so that you can do practical stuffs and you can see the PPTs, everything properly. You can raise down your hands. Thanks for confirmation.
Will start, Sharath?
Yes, we'll wait for 1 more minute and exactly.
4:10.
And guys, that is a humble request. So next class onwards, so try to join exactly at 4 o'clock whenever the time is mentioned. Right.
Yes, what is the strength now?
Sheetal and Komal, you can raise down your hands. Yeah, 38 means 36 students are there. I think Sarla will start, I think.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, all. Those who are not talking, you can go on mute. Otherwise, it will be echo. So, till now we have studied about, cloud, what is cloud, advantages, characteristics, benefits, right? What are the types of cloud? Who are all the cloud providers? Then we discussed about the different cloud models and, what are the different cloud providers. And now we started with the AWS. Okay. So in AWS, we know that AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, is a one of the provider. So who will provide the cloud resources? Okay. So now here, so today, when you start any of the cloud, the first thing is the access part, like how we are going to access it, what are all the permissions you have. Okay, so based on that only the next steps will start. Or either you can create the virtual machines, you create the storage, or you create the different network resources. So whatever the resources you're using in the cloud, the very first part is the access. So anywhere you go without access, it may be any cloud, without any access, you cannot able to log in or you cannot able to utilize the resources. So to start with that, so very first is what is IAM or what IAM stands for. So we all know that in the last class, Sharath explained how to access it, how we are going to provide the access, right? So first we'll start to know about what is IAM, what is the use of IAM, when we have to get these accesses to utilize the resources or to access the resources. So IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So this IAM is a web service provided by AWS. So what it will do? It will securely control the access to AWS resources. So you can ask what are all the AWS resources. So that may be your virtual machines called EC2 instances or storage, or it may be S3 bucket, or it may be network parameters. So these are the different resources. To get an access to these resources, your identity and access management plays a important role. Okay. So next, moving on. So IAM mainly, or the access mainly given to the users or groups. Okay. So what do you mean by user and what do you mean by a group? We know that the user is an individual user who can access the resources, and group is nothing but a group of people. So who is having in the same activity or who performs the same activity. You can see this in this diagram. Okay. So we have a group called a developer and we have a group called operations. So developer will develop the applications where operations people will utilize those applications, or they may test, or they may use the different application purposes, right? So now to develop or to perform any operation in any of the resources, first you will be having an access. So first, the very first access provided by the AWS is the root user account, who is the one who creates the AWS account, and he will share the different access to the different groups and different users. Okay. So the root account is the very first role takes place while creating the AWS account. So that we will show how to create the root account. But here the root account, you cannot use root account for all the purposes. This is only for the specific task or specific applications, or specific person can manage this. And you cannot share your root credentials to everyone. It is very secure. You cannot share this. But you can give a limited access to the different group members, or it may be a different user. Okay, usually the access will be given to the user or groups, but more officially, or it is very secure to give the access for a particular group. So what we will do, we will create one group DL, or we will create a security DL. So those who are part of that group can access the particular resources. Okay. Next, coming for the permissions. So permissions is nothing but what permissions you have. It may be read permission or write permission. So read permission means you cannot do any modification. You just log on and you can see what is there. But in case of write permission, it is a very important. Those will be having a modification. Those can do the modification also. So usually the IAM permissions, it may be to the users or it may be groups. It will be assigned in terms of JSON format. So what do you mean by JSON? So it is a to explain more, you understanding purpose. See, this is what the JSON stands for: JavaScript Object Notation. So this is a language. It is not a programming language. This language is nothing but where human can understand, and as well as the machine will also understand. This is a where the data will be arranged in a structured format. You can see this is a database. Inside the database, you have a collection. Inside that, you will be having a document. So within the document, you will be writing some text script. Okay, that script will be in the JavaScript. So that will be in the format of JavaScript. So where it will be in the database. Inside the database, you will be having a collection. Then there will be a documents. Each document will be having a each script. So your AWS also will be having a JSON document. So where you can understand, where machine can also understand to give the different access. In AWS, you can apply very least privilege, means the modification will not be given. So most of them are read access. Sometimes when they want to create any resources, so in such cases, we can allow or we can deny. You can see the different version. So versions are nothing but different modification. So when we do any modification, we will be giving different versions. Okay. So then we have a statement. Then what is the action? So the one particular user will be having a access to create the EC2 instances. So what is the effect? Either you are giving access or you're denying the access. So based on the action, some of the action you can allow, and some of the actions which are not, mainly in case of, for example, development or some applications. So there we will not giving any modification access. So that will be denied. So always in AWS, the permissions will be in the format of JSON. Any doubts here? And you can see this is an understandable language, right? So the statement, you have to define a statement. So based on that, which action they can perform, either you can allow or you can deny.
How many know coding language here? Just raise your hand. Like anything, Python, C, Java. Okay, okay,
Okay.
nice. So Sonali, Sneha. Okay, nice. I think so many guys knows the coding
Good,
languages.
good.
Good. Okay. So comparing to other coding language, you can raise your you can hands down actually. So compared to Python, any other language. So this language looks easy, right? With the simple,
Mm.
understandable English, so we can do it now. So this is called the JSON language, which it is mentioned. So it's
And those who do
no need
not
to
know
write
the
that.
coding language, they no need to worry about. Actually, this will be only who is having the permission, they can do these things. You no need to worry. Yes, Sharath.
Yeah, yeah. There is no writing code actually or anything here. Everything already AWS has provided it. So only thing is
Yeah.
you should know how to read it actually. But reading it's very easy. You can with the names itself you can read it. And wherever the bold letters are there, right? So you should remember those keywords. Least privilege access, which means not giving more permission what he has required. Users, groups. So those bold letters, you try to remember the names actually. What does it mean? So that helps in our future class. Yes, I can go ahead.
So next, see, to give any permission or to give any access, so first you have to create some policies. Okay. So in a particular organization, there will be lot of policies. Like someone will be having a backup policy. Some also writes like who will be having access. So those policies. So there will be lot of policies. Either it may be storage or it may be backup or it may be any other network configuration. So they will be having a defined policies in a particular this one structure. I mean IAM structure. Okay, you can see one of the policy written over here. So here, before going to understand the policy, first we'll see what are the particular it consists of. So maybe the version, as I told you, it defines like when you do the modification, the version will change. Then you will be having ID, one particular ID. So what is this ID called? This is a S3 account permission. S3 is nothing but a storage buckets in AWS. So who will be having access to that particular access to this S3? So then if there will be having an ID followed by a statement. So inside this flower bracket, you will be having a particular statement. So each statement will be having a SID. SID represents statement ID. So either it may be 1, 2, 3. Depending upon these statements, there will be a statement ID. Okay, so then it consists of statement ID followed by a effect. What is the effect? It's either an allow or it may be deny. Means you're going to give this permission to access. It will be allowed or it will be denied. So in many of the cases, depending upon the sensitivity of the given policies, it will be allowed or it may be denied. So then what is the principle? So this principle mainly consists of account, user, role. Okay, here the number whatever it is seeing now, this is called the account. Each particular AWS will be having a its own account number. Okay, so you can see the number format from 1 to 2. All this is called an AWS account. So followed by, so what is the role? It may be the root access or it may be, because root access is very sensitive. We cannot give everyone to a root access. Or it may be what type of role, read role or write or modification. So followed by, you have to give one particular role. So along with that, you have to mention which user you're going to give. So this principle usually defines what is the particular AWS account, which type of role, and which type of user is able to access this particular policy. So after that, what action they have to do? Either they can, so there may be multiple actions. See, when I take any virtual machine, the virtual machine not only includes a particular CPU memory, it also in the backend, it also requires a networking. So without internet, it cannot do any performance, right? So there will be a network team. So those will be doing different action. So there will be a storage team. So that will do the different action. So depending upon the type of group, for example, one group is performing only the creation of virtual machine. Another group will be performing only creation of VNet and subnet. The next group will be performing only some particular what we can call it as IPAM. Like they will be giving some particular like which IP is blocked, which IP is allowed, how many are utilized, how many are not utilized. There will be a range. So each type of team we have to give a different action. So now if I consider only VM creation, so that team do not have any access to network. That team do not have an access to the storage, or that team do not have an access to the IPAM. IPAM is nothing but IP management team. So depending upon the type of group, we have to define the actions. So next we have a resource. So sometimes we are going to limit the resources. So in this case, we are limiting the resources to the S3 bucket. Either sometimes it may be public or it may be private. So we should not give any public access. So otherwise there will be a attack, and they may stolen these type of whatever the resources you have created, or they do any malfunctioning also. So that's why you have to limit the resources also, and as well as what type of action. So any doubts over here? So mainly the policy consists of a version, statement, effect, principle, action, and resources. And you do not need to write these all, codes. It will be inbuilt. If you do any modification, then you can do it. Okay. So next one is a password policy. So next, if you create any particular AWS account, it may be root user or read-only user or write user, any type of user. The recommendation is you have to use a strong password. So we know that. So when you either in your, if you consider your mobile phone, there will be a password, right? So in password also there will be a lot of option. You can use a numbers, you can use a face recognition, you can use a thumb finger, right? So there will be a lot of option. So similarly, in your account, to avoid the hackers to attack your account, you should be maintain a minimum length. For example, 8 characters, 9 characters. In that character, it includes an uppercase letter, a lowercase letters, followed by a number, and then alphanumerical character. So this is the recommended password from the particular AWS. And also, there is a, you can also define a role. For example, you can also define a policy saying that after every 45 days, you have to change the policy. Sorry, you have to change the password. And after every 35 days, you have to change the password for the security reason. So that's why, so there will be a password policy, and each time you have to, for example, after 45 days or 35 days, 50 days, you have to change the password, and you should not reuse the same password. Sometimes you may use the same password to avoid the problem. Like if you forget the password, you cannot log in, right? So that's why usually you have to keep a password you should remember, and hacker should not attack it. So now, for example, sometimes what you will do, you will discuss with your friends, for example, your favorite movie or your favorite cricketer, your favorite song. So you can keep the same, that as a password. And you can, your friend who is having, knowledge about your favorites, then can easily identify the password. In such cases, to avoid, sometimes if the password is guessable, and if they have guessed the password, then always we'll go for a MFA. So do anybody know about the MFA? Usually in all corporate
Multi-factor
companies.
authentication.
Sorry?
Multi-factor
Yeah,
authentication.
you're correct. It's a multi-factor authentication. So can you explain what it will do?
When it's mean verifying, no, ver, sorry, verifying whether the user has right or not in many
Exactly.
ways.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. So the name itself represents multi-factor authentication. Sometimes if your password is guessable and hacker is easily guessed your password, he can easily access your resources in AWS and he can delete or he can do any modification, right? So in corporate companies, it is a very important. The security plays a very important role where once the hacker is hacked your particular password, there will be lot of losses to the particular organization. They can stolen their code, they can stolen their application, right? They can copy. That's why to avoid that, every organization will be going for the multi-factor authentication. So what do you mean by a multi-factor authentication? So along with your root accounts and along with your password, the MFA includes password plus security device. So the devices may be your mobile phone or it may be your laptop, your personal laptop, or it may be any other devices. So it will ask for the authentication. So when you enter a password, for example, a Ram is a user and he enters the password. Soon after that, when he enables MFA, that is multi-factor authentication, soon after that, the device which is incorporated with this will be asking for a password. So now he has to go log into, or he has to log in, or he has to take his device. He has to enter password along with there will be a MFA code. It may be 6 digits, 4 digits, or 7 digits. So he has to enter the code. Then only it will allow for the successful login. If this does not enter properly, so then you cannot able to log in the device. For example, if hacker is guessed your password, even though since MFA is enabled, he cannot able to log into the device. So that is what called the more secure way of accessing your account. That is what the main advantage is. If a password is stolen or hacked, the account is not compromised. It will not allow them to log in. So some of the MFA devices options in AWS are you can use a virtual MFA devices such as Google Authenticator, then you have a Microsoft Authenticator. So there will be a lot of authenticator apps. So in that authenticator apps, what you will do, you have to enter your email ID. Either it may be organization or your own email. So you have to enable it, you have to configure it. So once it is configured, every 60 minutes or every 30 minutes, sorry, every 30 seconds or every 60 seconds, the numbers will be varying. Okay. Each time within that particular limit of seconds, you have to enter the authenticator code or authentication code. So then it will allow. So now when you log into any account, there will be two particular uh, definitions or two particular things you have to remember. One is authentication and one is authorization. So authentication and authorization is two different things. So one, it will allow for the login and other one will do the verification whether the correct person or is logging into the device. So without authentication and authorization, okay, you cannot able to log into any particular account. So authentication and authorization will give a permission to log into the particular devices. So some of the,
Actually, I'll give an example. I
okay,
think more or less everyone knowingly, unknowingly, they start using MFA now. So what we call it as a OTP, right? So you'll get a OTP, right? Whenever you are doing something actually. Even for if you ordered something Amazon, you have already account and you only ordered it, but still they want to confirm you, right? You are the right person who is carrying that parcel. So they will ask OTP verification. So it is also works on similar kind of technology behind the scene, but both are not same actually. What MFA is and what OTP is. But MFA is, I mean, more authentic for our like cloud kind of a technologies and all. So they have a different various of options where you can adopt for the MFA. So some people may have mobile, some people may not use the mobile, or some people don't want to use the mobile in office, right? It could be a research field or somewhere where they won't allow you mobile also inside your company. So there they are using the universal two-factor authentication key, and we will. There are two more actually ways for authenticating this MFA. And the picture you are seeing, right? The first picture, virtual MFA device. So the code you are seeing, right, 6 codes. So it will keep on changing every 60 seconds. So based on your configuration, again, it is, as Sana mentioned. So it will keep on change. So example, tomorrow you want to log into your account. So once you enter your password, again, you need to put your MFA, that code, it is keep on changing every 60 seconds. Again, if you late by 60 seconds, again, you need to re-enter the new key actually. That we call it as a key, auth key, or the Google, they
YubiKey.
call it as a Google authentication key. And another one, what is the advantage is, so you can incorporate to multiple applications, not to that particular thing. You see the second picture, Amazon Web Service is there. No? So there are different pictures are there. Gmail is there, OneDrop is there, other things are there. So for all your application, you can incorporate this particular MFA that Amazon is calling as a auth, right? For multiple devices, you can incorporate. So once if you enter that particular key, it will allow you for multiple application. Every time no need of putting this MFA, because you are already verified with both thing. One is password, one is a key, MFA key. So this is a way where how the company will incorporate for more securing your application. In your Gmail also there is an option, right? Few people may know it or may not know it actually. So you can put the password based authentication plus MFA also. MFA means you will get a code or a OTP to your mobile or your secondary device or a secondary Gmail. So there you need to re-enter that particular key. Then only it will allow you for your Gmail access. So nowadays it is becoming more popular because to secure your application more securely. Even SBI also recently incorporated this thing. So previously banks are allowing with only password. If you enter the password, you can log in into your bank account. So now what they are doing, after putting the password, you will get a OTP with your registered mobile number. So after putting the OTP only, it will allow you for your bank application for doing other stuffs. So similar technology you can compare it. That is called the MFA, multi-factor authentication. Continue.
And also some companies provides the devices. Okay, you can also purchase it if you want for the multi-factor authentication. Most of the cases you will go for the mobile authentication apps only. So, but still there are a lot of third party, tools. They will also provide this authentication devices for the secure login.
So someone can guess why they do want to go with the other devices, like because they need to buy this device, right? Example, the first picture it is showing one device, so they need to buy that particular device instead of people may have mobile, right? Instead of that, why they are using the devices? Just can anyone guess? I just mentioned actually while explaining.
Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat it again what you asked?
So what I'm asking is, we have already mobiles, right? We can download the application and we can put that particular pass key. So instead of mobile, they are using the third party device, which means they need to buy this particular device for authentication itself. So why company will invest for again a new device? What is the purpose behind going with a different option?
So it's
Even
not
though
necessary that
Okay.
everyone is using login via the phone.
Yeah, someone has mentioned mobile phone can be hacked. Okay. That is one thing. Yeah, mobile. See, even device also can hack, right?
hack.
I mean, it is also device again. So as I mentioned, right? So in a kind
We
of research, yeah, sorry. So Krishna wants to say something.
यस सर, मोबाइल में अगर मोबाइल कंपनीज यूज करेंगे ऑथेंटिकेशन के लिए तो फिर वो सिक्योर भी नहीं हो सकता है। अगर हम लोग ये यूज करेंगे तो ये एक एडिशनल लेयर आ जाएगा ना सर उसके ऊपर ऑथेंटिकेशन के लिए एज
नहीं
अ
नहीं,
सिक्योर।
वो मोबाइल काम करेगा तो ये डिवाइस काम कर रहा है, ये सिर्फ की जनरेट कर रहा है बस। वो की आप डालना पड़ेगा हर बार जो आप लॉगिन करते हो, ठीक है? अभी दोनों डिवाइस मोबाइल और ये डिवाइस both are similar, right? I mean, if you lost that particular device, again you'll compromise your password.
Sir, one reason can be, so mobile we not carry every time. This can be a reason. If you logging on the laptop, if you do not have mobile phone for generating this key. If we have this device, so we can enter this key. We can use this key, this device as it. If we do not have our phone with us that time.
No, no, no. What I'm telling is you need to use mobile or this device. You have only two options. Okay, you should
We
select any one of them. So people,
that
most of the, yeah, sorry. Go
that
ahead, Krishna.
MFA should use.
No, I'll actually, you were trying to attempt the answer actually. The answers are correct. But the main reason is example, as mentioned, right? So in an example, research field or the aerospace field or the banking field, where they won't allow your mobiles also inside your
Some
organization.
country security policies also, you should not share that to, everyone. So there will be lot of, secured, for example, even it comes to a country, so it should not leak, like either it may be military application or aerospace applications. It is very confidential.
So
There
there,
they will not allow your
your mobile
mobiles
phone,
also.
because you can take pictures or you can do recordings, anything you can do from the mobile, right? But this from this particular hardware device, you can't do other stuffs. You can it will only generate the keys, and that you need to use while logging into the account. So that is the main purpose of using the third party device. So that will use mostly in aerospace or the defense area or the banking sector kind of scenarios. Yeah, Sarla, go ahead.
Okay, let's continue. So now, once you know about this AWS, then account policies, password, then what is the use of MFA, so then how can users access AWS? So we all know that the very first thing to access the AWS is the AWS Management Console. So where that will be used only for the like protected password along with the MFA authentication. So apart from that, there are other ways to log into the AWS console, that is called CLI, command line interface. So this is protected by the keys. Okay, so there will be a access key will be generated. So with that access key only you have to enter, then it will allow us to log in. So mainly this command line will be used from the for the developers, so who develops the application, or tester who test the application. So mainly for the end user, it is AWS console. When it comes for the developer, or it may be testing application, then only this type of, either it is command line interface or it may be software developer kit. So those will be mainly for the development purpose. But when it comes to the end user, as I said, it will be mainly for the AWS console only.
Actually, other example also, right?
Hmm.
For different level of accessing your console, right? Different level of access means, yeah, one is user interface, what you are seeing your Windows screen, right? So you have a pictures like folders, or you can have a different colors. I mean, where you can move your cursor and click on that particular thing, and you can go or navigate to that particular path. So that is what the management console, where you have pictures, you can read the particular option, you can select that particular option. Whereas the two other options, command line interface and software development kit, so both are meant for your development purpose, where you want to do the automation fashion, right? So instead of doing manually, example, in Windows, uh, can we create 100 users at a time? I mean, 100 folders or 100 users at a time? No. I mean, yeah, there is an option, but again, they need to use the PowerShell. That is again a command line interface. So similar fashion in cloud also, example, a developer want to do some automation. They want to do the regular stuffs to automated way. So they will write a code behind the scene. So how they will do? They will do in the command line interface. The name itself, it will tell command line interface. And the third option is software development kit. So which means the software development means you have a multiple languages, right? Programming language. You can do Python, Java, C, C++, .NET. So people may not the like developer will work on only codes, not other this thing. So they can write the codes like Python script or JavaScript for automating this anything, whatever the provisioning or example giving the access, everything. So they will control over the software development command line interface. And the way of accessing to that particular console is not the password way, as we just saw, right? Management console, we have a password and we have a MFA. But for the command line and the software development, we don't have that particular option. We have a different option that we call it as a access key and secret key. So access key will be like your username, and secret key is like your password. But it is not like as like your username and password. We just saw, right?
You
Ram,
cannot create it.
Ram, Rahim. Like we can create a user and we can keep a password like ABCD at 123. We can't do it. Not like that actually. Access key and secret key will be like very lengthy character. You can go to the next slide, sir.
Yeah. See, this is what you cannot remember this also. Only you can copy it from the AWS console.
So yeah, actually it is shown only half of that particular key, secret key. It will be like very lengthy alphanumerical character. So there is a capital letter, there is a small letter, there is a numbers, right? So like it will be a very lengthy password where you can't remember if you share also. So only way is he need to copy paste or he need to write manually. Who will do it? So that's where it will become more secure actually for your command line interface and software development kit. So again, this is a fake ID which we created. No need to worry. I mean, we are not sharing the password here again. So every time, whenever you are doing anything, you should not share your keys here like this.
And also, so this is about your what is IAM, what is the policy, what is the rules, what is the permissions, what is the CLI. So in that case, how exactly you're using passwords and access keys. So once you know that, the next part will be our demo. Okay, so we'll be logging to the AWS account. Okay, then we will be uh, checking what are these type of resources from the AWS. So Sharath will be taking that part, and also at the end we will be giving access to some of you so that you can share your screen and you can try accessing it. Right, Sharath?
Yes, Anna. I'll share my screen. So
Mm.
before that, we'll see other two topics and then we will start our practical session. Okay. Hope my screen is visible, right?
No, Sharath.
Okay. Just a minute.
The screen is not visible yet.
Yeah, just a minute. Hold on.
Mm. You're sharing it or do you want me to share?
Just hold on, sir. I will do it.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is visible.
Okay, we see in the access key, right? So for the command line and the software development kit. So again, what is command line interfaces? Again, the code you are seeing, right? It will be like a Linux user interface. It will be black screen, and where you need to type the codes actually. That is the commands. And the commands is again easily readable format. It's not like a programming language. So if you see, the name is AWS S3 space CP means copy space that particular file, that is again txt file, and the path of that particular file. So this is a like command line interface, so where you can just type the commands, and so that it will execute your file upload or any other stuffs. And it is like whatever we are discussing, the management console or the command line interface or the software development kit, so all are doing the APIs for that particular cloud. So we are not accessing the console directly. There is in between a layer called API. What is API? Again, application what
Programming interface.
application programming interface, where you can calling that particular service for accessing the AWS services. Again, multiple services are there. So this is majorly used for the developer for managing the resources or doing the automations instead of doing the management console. And the next one is the software development kit, where again there is a set of you can get the libraries for the different programming language like Python, .NET or C++, Java. So here I mentioned, right? So there are different programming language where it will support, and it will also support for the mobile where you can do for the Android and iOS applications also, where you can do the stuffs for automation. Your application or anything. And the next will be the service called IAM roles. Okay, the cab. So someone has might be what seen the pictures, right? So the picture also will tell you the different thing actually. If you see this picture will tell you the what is allowed, what is denied. So that is called the right and wrong into mark actually. So again, if you see MFA, this is a MFA symbol. I mean, purposefully they have given the symbols so that you can easily understand or remember the things. So the key, so whatever we just discussed, right? Access key and secret key. The key is a symbol, and this is a software development kit actually. I don't know how on what basis they given this picture actually, but again the logic for the role is the cap. So cap means unless until you have that particular cap, you can do that particular stuff. If you remove that particular cap, so then you will lose that particular permission. So which means it is a temporary permission which can be given to the AWS services. Like you can give the services access to the EC2 also, like we just discussed, right? So the permission can be given to that particular user or particular group. So again, similar fashion, the permission also given to that particular services, because yes, there is a scenarios where AWS services also can communicate each other. Like EC2 one can connect to the EC2, or EC2 can connect to the other different services. So at that time, again, it required permission for that particular EC2 services. So at that time, we will majorly use the IAM roles. So again, you can assign the permission to that particular services or resources, and you can manage the permission level for that particular services. And the common use case like EC2 instance role, there is a role for EC2 instance where you can connect to that particular instance. Again, Lambda is one of the service. It is a function as a service. Lambda is one of the service, and the cloud formation is another service where you can give these particular roles. The cap which we just see. And the next is the security tools. Like as we discussed in our first example, right? We have a bank where we have accounts, employees, managers, everyone is there. But how to manage those resources? I mean, how many accounts are there in this particular bank, and what is the current balance of that particular user, or any other stuffs actually. So they should have some records, right? Like ledger, or they can have a computers where they can record the all the data. So that we call it as a reports, right? Security reports or anything. So same way, whatever we just discussed, what are the users are there in our account, what are the groups are there, what are the permissions we have given to that particular user, and when he did access last time to that particular console, and did he rotated his password or not. So all those stuffs can be seen at the reports. So these are the two reports in a IAM security tool. First one is called IAM credential report. That is at the account level. What is at account level? So all the list of all your accounts, users, status, and the various credential. Like how many are users are there in this particular account. So all the users list it will show, and the status of credential actually. When did they access last time, and whether they rotated his password or not. So that will tell you the credential report. So that's why where the name stand. What does it mean by credential? Credential means password, or how many users actually are there in a IAM credential report. So this report tells at the account level. And the second one is IAM access advisory. access advisory. Access means permission for that particular user actually. So this is at the user level. So it will tell, yeah, here it will tell what are the users are there. Here it will tell what are the users having different permissions set off to that particular resource. Access advisory shows the service permission granted to the user and when those services are last access. So here we seen related to the credential, which means password. Here we are seeing the access advisory, which means to which particular resource when did he last accessed. Example, EC2 instance. One user is access to this EC2 instance. Another user access to another different services. Another user has access another different services. So those set of permission levels we can see in a access advisory. So these are the two important reports where we can download and we can manage our AWS console or IAM services. So you need to remember these keywords: credential report, access advisory, at account level, at user level. Okay. So we will see what is the best practices and all. Before that, we will start the practical session. Again, we will create a users once again. So today we'll give the random access to a few guys so that you can share and you can try to access the particular console. Okay. So again, just to give the overview, so this is a IAM console, identity and access management. So how to access this particular service? You can directly go to the IAM here and it will populate here. You can make it as a favorite by clicking on this particular star so that it will show here. Or if you don't want to access like that, so you can go way down. There is a called security, identity and compliance. If you click on this, you will get the IAM service here. So these are the different way where you can access to this particular console. So this is how the dashboard looks like. What is a dashboard? Again, dashboard will give you the overall picture, like how many users are there, how many groups are there, how many roles are created, what are the policies are created. So again, if you want to go to the e-services, you can go left side or you can click directly on this particular link. So these are the links. So if you click, so it will go to this particular user page. So with the names itself, we can easily remember the things actually. Access management, which means you are managing the access of the particular users or a group. So that's where it comes under user. Under access management, you have a users, we have a user groups, we have a roles. Roles again, it is a temporary permission given to the particular services. If you see, this particular role has given to this particular service. This role has given to this particular service. So something like that. Again, policy. What is policy? Policy will write in a JSON format. JSON is a JavaScript orientation language actually, where you can easily readable language actually, where you can write the code and you can define the permission of that particular example. I'm just taking on this particular if you see here, I'm just accessing one of the service called Access Analyzer Service Role Policy. Okay, it has the same thing what we just discussed. Various versions will be there. The version will tell the what programming language has. I mean, when the language has been changed and what the statement, again statement having the effect, action and the resource. And you can put another condition also actually. We just seen. So you can give like this granular layer of permission to each services. In a practical scenario, we are not giving to only one particular service, right? We could have access for multiple services, and again in each services we can have again different level of permissions. In IAM itself, there is an option called get role, list for entity for the policy, list roles, list users. So we can see the level of granularity, the permission where you can give it, right? So you can give the granular level of permission for each particular services. And the identity providers. So this is again a different service. We'll see. And the account settings. Again, we saw, right? What are the passwords policy are there? What is the minimum length of password we should give? And how it should looks like. Password should be upper level, uppercase, lowercase, number, alphanumerical character. And we should not give always never expire. So it should always, password should keep on changing every 45 days or something like that. So this is, see, all the things we have took from here itself and prepared the slides. So if you start navigating to this particular service, if you start reading each one by one particular service, so you will get all the things with a readable understanding language itself. So what you are doing. So our next service is access report. We seen, right? In access report, we have seen two things. One is access credential report, and another is access analyzer. So access credential report will tell you the overall account level of permission. We'll see what is account level of permission has. It will download the particular report. If you see, there are how many users? There are 6 users. One is root user. This is a default user. Another is Guru, Sharath, Raj, and Raj at gmail.com and Sarala, right? So when they have created on 19/8/2023, which is 1 year back, and the Guru has created on 15/10/2023, and latest, like last week we have created this user, right? 27/7/2024. See the when it is created and the password, whether it is uh, password is enabled or not, actually whether password is there or not. So for Guru, password is true. For this one particular user, there is no password. So like this, you can get all the informations where there is a separate department in the organization called security department. They will check all these reports every week or every day, and they will manage the users. There will be thousands of users in a particular organization in a practical scenario. So again, same thing for access analyzer. So in access analyzer, again, you will have a external access and unused access. So previously, the all console together is having a one option is there, but now they have segregated recently to the two level of set of access where you can manage it easily. So if you see with the name external access, you can analyze from this particular option, and unused access. So what happens in an organization? Let's say we have a 50 students has joined to this particular team, right? But when we started this class, we started with 100 of people. So example, let's say I have given access to 100 students, and today we left with only 50 students. So another 50 users are not accessing to this particular user, so those can be removed directly from this particular console. So similar fashion, we are also managing the same thing. Whoever users are there, so we'll keep their access here, and we will remove the access whoever not used. So automatically we can check all the users who are not accessed after so many so and so dates, so that we can remove them. So now we will create a one user, and we will give access to one of you guys so that you can access and share your screen. Okay. So who wants to access the console? So that's why I asked the very beginning who has joined from the laptop. Okay, I'll give to Gupta. So I'm able to see Gupta. Gupta, are you joined from the laptop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will give the access for the management console. We seen, right? We have seen the three option: management control access, command line interface access, and SDK. So you need to remember those words. So I'm giving the console level access, I mean user interface. And I want to create the IAM user, not the identity center. Okay, both are different thing. And I will give the custom password. Okay. So for time being, so we'll give a different password. I don't want to share it, so I will share her. So I don't want to share the password. You should not share the password actually. I will share Gupta in one-to-one. Gupta, please share your email address in this chat. So I will tell her to change the password when she logins at a first attempt. Okay. And I will give access to this particular group until, okay, there are no groups as of now. I'm giving only IAM reader read only access. See the policy which attached is IAM read only access. Last class we have created, right? 7 days back. If you see, the details are here itself. So I'm giving this particular access. And next is, so next is create, because already group has attached to that particular policy, right? So no need to attach manually again. So policy is already attached to this particular group. So I'm giving access to her. Gupta, can you share your email address in this chat?
Sir, I'm facing issue with the chatbot. It's not showing me.
Okay.
It's showing that it's loading problem, something. Try to
Okay.
refresh. I'm refreshing.
Okay.
Sir, can I share on WhatsApp group?
Just a minute. Hold on. So can somebody confirm? Can I share her username and password in this chat? Is it a good way of sending the password and username to that particular user? Guys, Gupta, what is the best way to share the password for you?
Mm. Sir, you can share on me Gmail.
Okay, that is the one way where we can share our password over the Gmail, right? Not in the any chats actually. So again, yes, this chat is meant for our all students itself, but again, you should not share the password in this particular chat. Okay, I'm sharing my screen, so I'm just sending you the passwords over the Gmail. Okay. Yeah, can you spell your Gmail address, Gupta?
Sir, GUDDI,
G
all in
U.
small.
Okay, GUDDI
G
G
271
271.
@gmail.com.
Okay, I will confirm once again. GUDDI G271 at gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay, AWS IAM console access. Okay, now Gupta, you share your screen. You might have got the username and password in your Gmail account.
No, sir, I did not get yet.
Yeah, I think it will take 1 or 2 minutes. Did you receive it?
Yes, sir, I get.
Yeah, share your screen now. Don't open the email. First, share your screen. Are you facing any challenge, Gupta? Gupta, you are speaking on mute. If you are speaking on mute, unmute yourself.
Sir, I shared.
Yeah,
Is
okay.
it visible?
Yeah, it's visible now. Go to the Gmail.
Okay. Sir.
Unmute yourself. No need
So
to
what
mute.
I now open? AWS or email?
Your Gmail account.
Gmail account.
If you see, I have not written any email there. So how instead of writing the username and password there directly, right? So I have
Mhm.
attached the file instead of directly writing. So that's how you should send a username and password for any particular user in an organization. So you should not directly write over that particular email. Instead of that, you should write a username, password, whatever the required details. I mean, again, the details should be a only few minimal, whatever the required details, not all the details. And you should attach that particular Excel sheet, and then you can share the credential or to the any user in a particular organization. Yeah, I can open that particular Excel sheet, Gupta, now,
Okay, sir.
because I have given option for change the password once you log into that particular AWS account.
Okay.
If you see, the link is there. So if you click on that particular link, it is opening the browser. Amazon Web Service, sign
Yes,
in.
yes, sir.
Yes. So this exercise, you all should do it by coming to the next class. So we will give the access to all the users, and you should log into the AWS console, and you should check all the other options. So you should not do any other stuffs. You can go to the all the options and read all the options. What are the things are there? Okay. If you didn't understand anything, then park a question in a group, or we can discuss in our next class. Oh, close this WhatsApp. This thing is there, na? Close it. It may taking the bandwidth of internet. Okay, it is redirecting the particular place.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your username? What we have given?
Gupta.
Yes. So you should always careful about your credential, whether it is
Yes.
alphanumerical or not actually, or it is capital letter or small letter. So you should give properly capital G, small letters.
Hmm.
If you see here, it is asking to change the password at the first attempt itself. So which means if you see the way of accessing or sharing the credential, it looks a bit secure, right? The way we follow the procedure. So in interview or in your organization, people may ask you how you share the credential, or it will come a scenario there. You should explain this particular scenario. So this is how we used to follow the best practices while sharing the credential. Okay.
Yes, sir. May
Yeah,
I
you can.
change?
Yes, you change it. Quickly change it and log into the control.
Yes.
Give the old password and then type a new password which you want to keep it, and then re-enter the new password. I mean, same password. Hope guys, all you are following, right? How the way we are accessing, what we are following the procedures.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Because next class you guys need to do by yourself actually. Okay, there will be a recording, so you can follow the recording also, or you can internally connect each other if you are getting any issue. Again, still if you are facing issue after connecting each other, then you can very well ask the questions. Did you? Okay.
Oh.
Okay, now do one thing. So you need to type that particular account ID. Go to that Excel sheet. You'll get that particular account ID.
So where?
The email which I sent you, right?
So this is.
Yes, yes. This is the one. So actually, you should show where did you get this particular number.
Sir, I just clicked on it and he shows me because I just saved my password.
But this is not the way actually you should show it whenever you are sharing the screen, right? So everyone is seeing your screen. So you should show how you have extracted a particular number. So go to the your Gmail.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. Just can you open this one if possible, or download it?
So this
If
is
you,
a link.
okay, no problem. Actually, I will share the Excel sheet. Okay. If you carefully see it, there is a number actually in between that particular link. HTTP slash, then it will start that particular account number
Yes, sir.
6482 something. Okay. So there you will find the particular account ID. Okay. Now you can log in, Gupta. So you need to type new password.
Uh, wrong.
No, you typed wrongly, I think. See, always you should read this error. Okay, your authentication information is incorrect, which means authentication you are telling. So your who are you? It is verifying who are you. Okay, that you need to remember these keywords.
Why is showing me wrong?
Click on that username. Click on that. Give some space and again go. Backspace. Click one space and backspace. Okay, and same way do for account ID also.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think I have entered the wrong person.
See, this looks very simple, but still she is facing a challenge, right? So this happens actually in our organization. So sometime if you miss small letter also, it will happen this thing. So it looks easy, but that's why I given task for you guys actually.
Sir, can I change again and can sign in again?
Yeah, actually, wait a minute. I will give you the new password. Okay. So if you see here, as I'm an administrator here, I can do some things at the back end also, where I can control that particular user because I'm an administrator, right? Here.
Sir, I do with the same password.
Try it once.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure what password you have given. See, I don't know what password you have given now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you can try again, keep new password. I think you have not did this step properly.
Yes, sir.
It should be a capital letter, small letter, alphanumerical. Numbers also should be there and special character. So this combination you should do, keep it. And it should exceed more than 8 characters. Your authentication information is incorrect. Please try again. You can read that statement right at the top.
Authentication.
So which means again you are doing some errors.
Okay.
Okay, the password does not confirm the account password. Okay, do one thing. Just cancel this particular page. Okay, and click on once again. I am changing the password. Okay, just a minute.
Sharath, you only show that, okay? Try to do on yourself with the same
Yes.
password like you do. Yeah.
Okay. Gupta, you can unshare your screen. I will share it. So there is a time constraint, right? So now it's 5:13. So I need to cover few other topics as well. So that's why, guys, actually, I recommend you always, guys, to join it exact at 4 o'clock so that we can do many other stuffs. And I will show that particular option where I can control her access part. So if you see here, I am going to this particular Gupta user. It is just created 8 minutes back, and it has attached to one group. And when did she last time try to access? So on 15/11, okay. Whether she has the access keys or not, actually, it is not there. And this is a ARN actually. This is a link where she can access, not link actually, I can say this is a again a resource name actually, Amazon resource name. So these are all option you can see in this particular console. And for managing her password, you need to click on that particular Gupta user, and at the bottom you can see the permission, what are the permission has attached, what are the group it has attached to it. And the other option is security credential. If you click on security credential, there is an option called console sign in. So manage console access. So where I can reset a password for her actually, right? So this is how I can control her username and password. So now I will access her login credential. Okay. So I'm using a different browser now. Okay. Now.
Sir, Gupta.
Oh, sorry. Okay, again something happened. Okay, I think you have changed the password. So if you see here, now I'm unable to that particular access to that particular user. Okay. So what I can do is I can't delete this particular user because already I created it. Okay. It's not like that. Okay, I can delete again. I can create. So instead of that, I will reset that particular password. Okay. Custom password. And instead of giving next time create new password, this time I won't give. Okay. Okay, now I have changed it. So now I will go and I will refresh the browser because it will use the same cache. If you see here, I am able to log in at first attempt itself. So she might did a small error where the problem starts actually. Small error also, it won't allow you to access to that particular console. If you see here, now I'm into the home page. At the starting itself, it is showing access denied, few other things. So which means she don't have access to other consoles because I have given very limited, what we call it as a least privilege access. Our keyword is least privilege access. So we have given least privilege access. So that's where she's unable to read or write or can't see any other options actually. Yes, the console looks here, but if you see particular information, she won't get it. So now what I will do, I will go to the IAM console. Because I have given a permission for IAM only. So she is able to see the particular IAM console because I have given it. If you see here, she is able to see the IAM console, but she is not able to see other particular consoles. Again, this is only read-only permission. Let's say she is trying to delete this particular guru. Okay. Now she is trying to delete this particular guru option unknowingly or knowingly. It won't allow you to delete or perform this particular option because I have not given access. It will give the error. So you should read this error. What is this? Failed to delete the guru user. And what is the URN or ARN, what we call in Amazon actually, Amazon resource name, and is not authorized to perform IAM delete login profile on a resource user called guru because no identity based policy allowed IAM to delete this particular user. So that's how we will control the users in a particular organization. So similar fashion, I will give access to all of you guys so that next class you can log into the console and change your password and see all other options. What are the options are there here? And you can try to do other stuffs actually, whether you are able to do it or not, what error you are getting. So see all the stuffs in our by coming to the next class. Hope you guys got it right. Gupta, you got it right?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
No problem actually. That's where you learn actually. So that's your first step of learning actually, right? So now we'll see what are the best practices before completing our class. We'll take another 4-5 minutes. Okay. So what are the best guidelines? So already we saw one process, right? We have shared the credential over the email with attached file, not the directly written. So that is also one of the best practice, which is not written here, but that is we already learned it. Okay. And don't use the root account except for AWS account setup. Root account. So root account is only created for the whenever you are creating your account first time, right? So the root account by default it will create, and you should not do any other stuff from the root account. You can create another IAM user and they can give the access or a permission to that particular user, and you can do other stuffs like account setup, everything. And one physical user is for one AWS user. So example, we have 50 students. So each user act as a one AWS user, or device also, physical device or physical user act as a one AWS user, and assign users to groups and assign a permission to the group. So instead of adding each policy or a permission to each user, create a group. Example, we have a 50 students. So we can create one group and attach one policy to it. So we can control easily by making as a group. And always create a strong password policy, which is alphanumerical 8 characters, uh, and it should rotate every 45, something like that. So this is the strong password policy. And the next is without only with password, it is not the standard or a recommended way of making your account secure. Enable MFA so that you can have an extra layer of security. And the third one is create and use the roles. We have not seen this particular use case. We will see in other class, okay? How to create a role and how to attach the role to the particular resource, AWS services or resources. Similar fashion, what we just did it, right? Similar fashion, we need to give permission to the particular service or particular resource, and we need to do it actually. And what are the other ways of accessing? It is a command line and software development kit. And what is the way of accessing it? It is based on access and secret key, right? And always you can audit it. Audit means reports, where you can get it in the credential reports, or access advisory, where you can audit your whole account, what user are there, what level of permission it has, when they have changed their password, when they have access last time, what resource they have permission. All things you can audit it. That's where the name stands for audit. And never ever share your username, password to any one of them, even your close friend also. We used to do it, right? अरे दे दे यार तेरा password देख लूंगा थोड़ा. You should not do it actually. And coming to the shared responsibility model. What is shared responsibility model? So if you see here now, we have created all the users and groups in a AWS console. Now the question arises, what thing I should make ourselves as a more secure? I mean, what are the things I should take care? What AWS will take care? So if you see here, AWS is telling it is a global network security. Okay. So whatever the infrastructure behind the scene. So example, we created Gupta. We don't know where Gupta is created, right? It may be created in one of the server, or it may be created in one of the machine or data center. We don't know what is that. But AWS will take care of that, where it is created, and it won't lose that particular user once we created it. It will always show in that particular console, and or always she can access that particular console. And the configuration vulnerability access. So the configuration also required, right? Okay, we have created Gupta, but there could be a configuration at the backend scenario. They could have created one server, or they could have um, uh, again they should also should not see the password, right? If you see, I have created the Gupta user and have given the password at the first attempt, but after that I'm not able to see that particular password actually. But I have an option for reset that particular option. So some granular level of configurations will be there, that where it will tells you the compliance validation part. And when comes to our part, what we should take care, we should take care of our users. What are the users you are creating? What are the groups you are creating? What are the roles you are creating? What are the policies you are creating? Whether you have enabled MFA or not, whether you are rotating your passwords or not, whether you are auditing your particular users or not, whether you are checking the permission level of access, whether they have right level of permission or least privilege of access they have or not. So all these things we should take care. So AWS will take care some other things, some things we should take care. That's where it comes under shared responsibility model. And the summary, what are the things we have seen in our class today class? So we have seen user, how to create a user, physical user, and how to change the password, and how to we can see in the AWS console. And we have seen the groups also, how to create the group and how to attach the policy. Again, policy contains the JSON document, a JavaScript orientation notation. It will define you the permission, what level of permission you are giving to that particular user. That will tell the policy. And the role, again, it is same like a user. It will give to the AWS resource like EC2 instance or other services. And when it comes to the security, always you should do the password plus MFA level of security for accessing your AWS console. And other level of access is command line interface, command line, CLI, and SDK, software development kit. It is other two level of accessing your AWS console in a programmatic way and in a command line way. And for SDK and CLI, we have access key and a secret key instead of password based authentication. And the last part we seen is the reports, that we call it as an audit. Audit team will be there in a particular typical organization. They will audit your reports every time, each services or each reports, everything. It could be like credential report and IAM access advisory. They will download the reports and they will analyze all the reports every time, whether that particular user is active or not, whether he is accessing particular resource in a right way or not. All those things can be audited here in this particular reports. So this is the whole topic about the IAM session. Okay, any questions till now, guys?
See, before going to the next session, that is quiz question, how much your understanding is about the concept. We will do a small quiz session. So before going to that, so we'll be having a Q&A session.
Asal, you can share your screen, or should I share? I can
Yeah,
share the
share
link.
your screen. I'll be presenting in the back end.
Okay, sure.
At the end,
So,
we will discuss about the answers.
okay.
Fine. Any
Yeah.
questions before we move on to the quiz session?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Fine then. I have pasted a link, a Mentimeter link. It is a
Yeah.
quiz. So just click on that Mentimeter link. And so I have not yet started. You have to enter the code to join the quiz. Let us know if you find any difficulty.
Okay.
I have presented it.
Okay.
I hope
Guys,
everyone are able to.
Ma'am, please wait.
Okay.
Okay.
I have not moved to the next question. I can able to see only 6 members have joined. I'll give sufficient time. It take another 2 to 3 minutes.
Shall I be showing the questions itself directly?
Yeah, answers,
Answer also it is showing. I mean, not answer, response actually.
response. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop 1 second. Let's hide this.
Guys, today's session is interesting or not? Give some thumbs ups.
Session,
Your-
Sharad, you don't share your screen so that. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. You can share. I'll do the modification.
Okay. And I'm
For me,
asking
it's
one.
very interesting.
Sorry, Rashikar.
For me, it is very interesting question actually.
Yeah. So what about others actually? Is it interesting or is it boring?
Yes,
Or
sir.
you
It
are
was interesting. It is interesting.
okay? I mean, who is not understanding or who is facing difficult to understand?
Yeah, we are open for your feedback.
Yes, yes. So see, guys, if you are not understood, or let's say you are facing bit, I mean, fast actually, or it is very slow. So you can give those feedbacks so that we can also improve ourselves because every students will be not the same, right? So it's all depend upon their capabilities or their way of learning actually. The every person will learn in a different way. So we should have that particular feedback so that we can also come up with the new ideas or new steps for your easy understanding.
Sharath, you share your screen and read the question for their understanding.
Yes. So we'll read our first question.
Hmm.
In AWS, what does IAM stands for? So first option is identity and access management. Second is internal access management. Third is internet access management. And fourth is integrated access management. Okay, 30 response came now. Still, guys, are you logging in or you logged in to this particular Mentimeter? Everyone. Everyone is able to access this particular link, right?
Yes, sir.
Who is not able to access it? Please respond.
I've just moved to the next question.
Okay. So next question is, which of the following is not a component of IAM? Third is again it is showing the
Yeah,
answers, not the responses actually. So E8 has responded for the user organizational units. Which of the following is not a component of IAM? First one is role, second is user organizational units, third one is groups, and fourth is users. Okay, we got 30 responses. I think we can move to the next question.
1 second. Okay, we'll move on to the next question now.
Yes, Radha.
Hmm.
So next question is, what is an IAM role? Okay, what is IAM role? A set of permission allowing access to specified AWS resources. First option. Second option is a set of IAM users given permission to access specified AWS resources. Third one is permissions granted a trusted entity over specified AWS resources. And the fourth one is permissions granted to an IAM user over a specified AWS resources.
Only 2 responses we can see. Read it and then answer the question properly, because all answers are
Looks similar.
looking
Yeah.
similar. You have to read it properly.
And other guys, other thing, one important thing is that always don't try to copy as like you did, might did it or might not did it. I did it actually. I can tell openly in my studies. So, but better you don't do it actually. If you don't know answer, leave it. Try to understand the question and remember it. And after leaving the class, go ahead and read that particular topic and understand it, because we are not making here to pass or fail the particular student, right? We are learning here. So this is a different way of learning than your what classes, because that's all it needed for your jobs, not your exam marks or your answers or a percentage actually. That's great. 30 response became.
We'll move on to the next question. Okay.
So next question is, what is IAM group? Okay. First one is the same as the IAM user, can be used to specify the permission for a collection of users. It trustly an identity, all of the above. It's truly an identity. I'll read once again. IAM group is the same as IAM users, can be used to specify permission for a collection of users. It's truly an identity, all of these. Okay, we got 30 response, Sarla. So we can move to the next question. So next question is the features of AWS IAM. What are the different features we seen, right? First one is MFA. Second is two-step verification. One-way encryption. All of the above. I'll read once again. Features of AWS IAM. First one is MFA. Second is two-step verification. Third one is one-way encryption. Fourth one is all of the above.
We'll move on to the next question. Wait, it is 24. So we'll wait for another 1 minute. Read it properly before you answer.
Okay, I think we can move to the next question, sir. 29 response came. So next question is, identify the wrong statement. What is the wrong statement here? Okay. The first one is IAM can provide shared access to the AWS account. Second option is IAM is a paid service in AWS. Okay, the second point I think we have not covered actually. I'll tell it's good one actually. And the third one is IAM can provide a granular permissions. And the fourth one is IAM supports multi-factor authentication.
Authentication. Read it properly, okay, before you answer.
Okay, I can give the hint for one answer here. IAM is not the paid service; it is a free service. Okay, we have not mentioned in our slides or anywhere, but that's one point. It is a free service. IAM is a free service. Yes, there are other services are paid services. So now you left with only three options now.
Read it properly, because all looks like correct, but you have to identify the wrong one, not the correct one.
Correct. ನಾನೇ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನೇ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ತೆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ
Sharath, you can go on mute.
ಸಾರಿ ಸರಳ.
So next, can we proceed? Is it interesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Because what you have studied, we are just checking the knowledge, how much you have understood. Okay, we'll move on to the next question.
So next question is, when you first created an AWS account, you've been with a single sign-in identity that has complete access to all AWS services and resources in account. So what level of access you will have once you create a AWS account? Okay, first one is IAM user, root user, super user, none of the above.
We have explained this in the beginning, right?
Yes. So I'll just clarify the question once again. So once you first time you are creating AWS account, okay, and who are you actually when you are creating AWS account? First time you are creating AWS account, right? So what level of access you will be having for all AWS services and resources? What that particular user will call it as, whether it is IAM user, root user, super user, or none of the above.
All user are correct, but when you first create, as which user you're logging in, that is what they're asking. Okay. I'm going for the next question.
Next question is IAM group.
Group.
What is IAM group stands for? Is the name as a IAM user is the same as IAM user. Second one is can be used to specify permissions for a collection of users. It's truly an identity. All of this.
Oh. 21 responses, we got it. One second.
Okay, 32 responses we got, Sarla. We can move to the next question.
Is it displaying the question?
No, it is showing IAM group question.
Okay, one second. Next.
Okay,
Yeah,
next question is, which of the following are requirements you can not include in an IAM password policy? Okay, first is prevent password reuse. Second is required at least one space, required at least one non-alphanumerical, alphanumerical character, and the fourth one is none of these. I will read once again. Which of the following are requirements you cannot include in an IAM password policy? First one is prevent password reuse. Second is required at least one space. Third one is required at least one non alphanumerical character. Fourth one is none of these. Still how many questions are there?
Only one question left. This is the last
Okay.
question.
Okay. Which of the following are requirements you cannot include in an IAM password policy? Prevent password reuse, required at least one space, required at least one non-alphanumerical character. Fourth one is none of these.
We'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
The last question of the session.
So last one is, how can you secure your AWS root user? Okay. First one is assign the root user to an admins IAM group, enable AWS CloudTrail, enable MFA, create access keys for the root users. I will read once again. How can you secure your AWS root user? Assign the root user to admins IAM group. Second one is enable AWS CloudTrail. Third one is enable MFA. Fourth one is create access keys for the root user. We may not see in the service called CloudTrail, but yes, so we can use the elimination option for your choosing the answer.
We talked about this today.
Yes. Okay, I think we got a good response.
Okay, we'll see the results. I'm sharing my screen now. We'll see how many are answered correctly. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once it is visible. So for this question, 31 have answered it. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, the correct answer is today we talked about identity and access management. We started with the session with the name, right? The correct answer is identity and access management.
Who has answered internet access management?
1%.
Okay, I think next time we will enable that particular option. Who is selecting next?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. Yeah, we can go to the next question.
Yeah, the second question is which of the following is not a component of IAM? Roles, groups, users, these are all components. See, that's why we will say whenever you read the question, we know you understood, but you have to analyze the question. See, these are all part of the IAM, okay, but not users organizational unit. This is the correct answer.
We have not seen this particular option, right? Organization unit. We have seen roles, groups, users, everything in the console. This is the one which I have not seen. Yeah, next question.
So next one is, what is an IAM role? It's a mixed response. Sharath,
Yeah,
can you tell me what is the correct answer?
Yes. So we will see what is roles in detail. Okay, this is a very tricky one service actually. IAM role. So the options are a set of permission allowing access to a specified AWS resources. Okay, that is also correct. Second one is a set of IAM users given permission to access specified AWS resource. Okay. Second one is you can use the groups or a policies to attach the user, not the roles. Okay. Third one is permissions granted a trusted entity over a specified AWS resources. Permissions granted to a trusted entity over a specified AWS resources. Yeah, third one also could be the correct one. Permissions granted to an IAM user over a specified AWS resource. So that is not the correct one. So first and third one is the correct one.
Third one is the correct answer. Yes.
Yeah.
But if you specify it, it is a trusted entity. So when we compare first and third question, the exact answer, if I say it is a third
Third
one.
one, correct.
Yeah. So next we'll move on to this one. IAM group. So IAM group is the same as IAM user, can be used a specific permission for a collection of users. Is truly an identity, all of these. Okay. So we are asking group, okay, not user. So the correct answer is the second one. So sometimes see when you see these three, someone like they have analyzed it, all of the above. If it is there in the question, they directly go for the all of the above. But you have to analyze the question. That's why to confuse only we have added all of these. The correct answer is this one. Can be used to specify permission to a group. Group means collection of users or collectively users. Features of AWS IAM, MFA, two-step verification, one-way encryption. All these are nothing but a secured way. So the answer is all of the above. So MFA is correct. But what is MFA? It is the second step of verification. First step is password. Second step is MFA. It's one way of encryption. This is also correct. So here the answer is all of the above. That's why whenever it is all of the above, you should be careful before answering that. So identify the wrong statement here. The wrong statement is IAM can provide shared access to AWS. IAM is a paid services. See, the first, third, and fourth statements are correct. The wrong one is IAM is not a paid service. Okay, it's a free service. So when you first create an AWS account, you being with a single sign-in identifier. So which user? The correct answer is root user. Someone has given IAM user, but when you log in for the first time, it will be called it as a root user. Next one, IAM group. So IAM group can be used as specific permission. I think this is a repeated question, I think. Okay, let it
Yes.
be the answer is second one
Yes.
only. Which of the following are requirements you cannot include in an IAM password? The answer is yes. Requires at least one space. So nowhere, if take not only in AWS accounts, anywhere you go, you should not use a space as a character because it will leads to lot of confusion and that account may lock. Okay, so all three, first, third, fourth, these fourth is not applicable. Second and third statement are correct, but required space is not the correct one.
Yes, someone has raised the hand actually.
Yes.
You have questions? Actually, Sheetal and Komal, you should raise down your hand. I told it
From the
very
beginning. Yeah.
but you guys still want to keep your hand up.
Next
Javiti,
we
you have
want
any question?
So how can you secure your AWS root user? The answer is enable MFA. Create access keys. See, this access keys we have explained. This is only in case of CLI and SDK, not for the AWS console. For the root user, the correct answer is enable MFA. So these two, CloudTrail, we will cover it later, but the correct answer is for root user, for the first time, along with the password, it is MFA. Any questions around? Do you have any confusion between these two? Intentionally, I have added this because this access key will not be used for root user. Right, Sharath? Yeah,
Sorry, I'm speaking on mute. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
So I think this is what. See, going forward in the next quiz session, we will enable a feature called who has answered wrongly, right? So that we can able to see how many those who are and also who is the winner, like how many they have got who is the highest marks taken from the quiz. So that also we are going to publish just to adjust with this app. Okay, we have just not included that feature. So going forward, we will identify how many are answered correctly, how many has answered wrongly, and who is the winner for the quiz competition. Fine.
Who is it? See, this quiz is as I mentioned, this quiz is not for your this thing. So it's how you learned it. Okay, how did you understood it? That's where we are doing all these things. And you should always interact. Actually, I can able to see only few guys are very interactive. If you have any doubts, if you didn't understood, or if you have let's say you may also gone through these particular scenarios, you can share your things, okay, when you will be learning.
I'll also share the result of this quiz along with the answers. Okay, in the chat box. You can just check it once. Or when you have any doubts with those answers, you can always raise your concern.
Okay, yeah.
So
we'll
that's
share
it
this,
for.
we'll share this PPT, Sarla, and they can go through it.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
If any no doubts means we can stop this session today. We'll join in our next session.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining the session.
Thank you,
Happy
everyone.
weekend. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.